let's see how it does when it's compared to some really good contenders. Now this is the part of the show where we turn it over to you guys, the metal mob. So this is how it works. For a super chat of any amount, you get to pick an amp from Jarrod's amazing and ever-growing amp collection that the contender will compete with. And because of the KEMPER amp switcher, you'll get a direct comparison between them. And if you wish, you also get to pick the mix that you want them to compete in. You get to be the judge of which one lives and which one dies. So get your picks ready and let's get started. Welcome to the Gauntlet.
guys, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're really excited to hang out with you and to have you be part of our community. If you like what you see here, here's a couple ways you can support the channel. We always appreciate Super Chats very much, but here's a couple other ways you can support the channel and get something in return other than just content. If the Super Chat feature doesn't work for you, or if you're watching after the live stream, Jarrod's PayPal account link is listed below. Any donation of any amount is greatly appreciated. Since the show is sponsored in part by Motor City Guitar, we've included an affiliate link below. By clicking the link below, everybody wins. You're getting a great deal on some awesome equipment, you're supporting a store that has tons of inventory and great customer service, and you're supporting Tone Wars. And on top of all of that, if you live outside of the state of Michigan, whenever you buy anything from Motor City Guitar, you don't pay any sales tax. And last but certainly not least, you can visit our website at tonewars.com. The link is below. There you will find some awesome KEMPER profile packs with the tone and feel guitar players love. You will also find presets for the very popular HELIX, HX Effects, HX Stomp, and Pod Go. Alright, the show's about to begin. We look forward to hanging out with you, so grab your favorite drink and join us in the live chat.
Welcome to Tone Wars. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it very much. I figured I'd start out with one of my hardest ones, that way I can just get it out of the way. One down, 10 to go, or whatever, you know. So, well, again, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it very much. Got a lot to say about this amp and how I feel about Friedman amps now. And why. It's been kind of an interesting afternoon. I want to give a shout out to Motor City Guitar for allowing me to take this, you know, really expensive amp home and trusting me with it. And thanks to them, we can have a show tonight and have some gear I've never had on the show before. So if you're interested in getting some new gear, I highly recommend Motor City Guitar. They ship all over the U.S. and you don't pay sales tax outside the state of Michigan. So, and they got lots of great stuff and great deals. So, anyways, so let me say hello to everybody here real quick, and then we'll get into some more mixes and some comparisons, and yeah, we'll have some fun. So, Sean Casey, what's up, buddy? The Horns, thank you for being here. Jason Lewis, what's happening? He said, I'm probably going to be the only Friedman hater here, but I love the show, so I'll work it out somehow. Yeah, well, thanks for being here. I appreciate your comment. You know, we'll have to get into that in a minute because I used to, well, let me say hello and then we'll talk about it real quick. So, the LOL PWNZ, I'm just going to call you the LOL. What's going on, man? Gunnerman, what's going on? He says, let's see what you can do with that. And never mind a Friedman, is it metal enough? Yeah, well, we'll find out. We will find out. Dean Harkness, what's going on, man? Frailty Lives, what's happening? Let's see here. Is Carrie here to read? She might be popping in tonight. Let's see here. Dean says, see, mail it to 2604. Just kidding, I knew this would sound... Oh, yeah. All right, man. What's up, Brad Shimke? Bradley Peel, hey, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. He said, I know Jarrod won't love this amp, but we appreciate his honesty and gear play thoughts. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I try to be as, well, I don't try to be. I am as honest as I can with everybody, even to a fault. So, Christopher, he says, damn, this would go good with some 90s movie action montage. Awesome, Matt. Matt Force, what's happening? Good to see you here, Matt. Let's see here. CG, what's going on, man? Watching with my wife and cats. Hello, Mrs. CG. My cats are upstairs. One of them tried to get down here. That's why I was having a late start when I opened the door. He came dashing in here, and I had to scramble and get him out of here. Because, seriously, like when I play and he's down here, he climbs all over me, and I just can't do it. It's funny to watch, but at the same time, I'll make 1,000 mistakes. I already make enough, so I don't need him coming down here screwing me up even more. Let's see here. Steve Venchak, what's happening? He says, it's the cab making all the amps sound awesome. Okay, so what's up, Steve? And let me put my phone down. Cheers, guys. All right, so... Ooh. All right, so time for a bit of honesty here. Let me turn my fan off for a minute. So as you may or may not know, some of you guys have been watching the channel for a while know how I feel about Friedman amps. I always thought they were built well and great amplifiers, and every time anybody else played them, I thought they sounded amazing. Every time I played one, it just didn't gel with me, and I couldn't figure out why. I was always like, man, what's the deal? Like, why is it that this amp always sounds better in everyone else's hands than in mine? Well, since I bought this Diezel cab with the G12 K100s, it's made, in my opinion, for me, for what I do and what I like, it's made all my amps sound better in a lot of ways. Like some amps that I have, I think prefer like vintage 30s. Like I really think the Engl sounds great through the G12s, but I think it probably sounds a little better through the vintage 30s, but that's a matter of taste anyways. This is all subjective. So, but I've never played the Friedman through the G12s until tonight. And I started playing it, and as soon as I started playing the amp, I was like, oh my God, I'm really digging this amp right now. And it was weird. Like, I was like, usually I like it good enough to play a show with it and do my thing, but it's not like something that really knocks my socks off. But tonight, with that cab and those speakers, it's really, really working. I mean, it's really working for me. This is the very first time tonight that I played a Friedman amp, you know, and really like gelled with it and was like, I could totally do this big time. No problem, no issues at all. And so if that's a testament or a lesson for anybody, like sometimes if you play an amplifier and you like it, but it just doesn't really work for you, try a different cab or some different speakers, because that makes all the difference right there. That's something I'm learning. I've been stuck on vintage 30s the whole time I've been playing guitar since I was a kid. It's always been V30s. And since I got this cab, like the JP, great amp, love it through the vintage 30s. It's a little focused, which is fine. There's times I really want a focused amp. There's times I want a big, wide kind of sound. But because the amp is a bit focused, when you play it through the G12s, it's got that width that I like. And all of a sudden, I like the amp more than I ever did. I always liked it. Now I absolutely, ridiculously like it. So if that's like an Easter egg for tonight's episode, I would say try some different speakers. They don't have to be G12s. They could be whatever. But sometimes that's what it is. It's not the amp that you're not gelling with. It might be the speakers. And I learned that big time tonight, because this amp's totally working for me. Totally working for me, 100%. I think it's been sounding great. And let me pull up the amp cam. So it's a little glary on here. I tried to balance it out best I could, but those are the settings that I have right now. So you can see what I'm running tonight. I'll leave that up for anybody that's coming in later, whatever, that you can see what I'm doing here. But man, it's working for me tonight. So I'm so glad I took another stab at this amp. Yep, very, very glad. Let's see here. Jefferson's Frailty Lives. Yep, that's what I'm having tonight, just a little bit. Since I started keto, alcohol doesn't mix really well with that diet for some reason. So I just do a little bit now, like once or twice a week. That's it, you know, and that's fine with me. Dean Harkness, that's how I feel about Mesa, with the exception of the JP. Haven't tried it either. That thing sounded great Sunday. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, the JP was dominating on Sunday, wasn't it? I mean, that amp just slayed. It just sounded so good, and I'm not kidding you. Like, ever since I got this cab, like, all the amps that I liked, but there was always something about them, like the JP. I was like, I love this amp. I just wish it was a little less focused. And I got those speakers. Boom. Wish came true. Less focused, sounds bigger. If you can imagine that. And I was just like totally like all about the JP, you know. So it was really cool. I like it even more now. And when I profile it, I'll be using that cab because I want to get that big wide sound out of it and less focused. And it still sounds great in a mix, so no big deal. It's funny, like all this time I thought I was a vintage 30 guy. I'm kind of turning into a G12 guy. I really am. Cold damn beer, what's going on, man? CG says, I only got my first 412 with vintage 30s and I'm in love. Ah, cool. Yeah, again, I got a vintage 30 cab right back there, and I will be switching back and forth between them. I still think it's an amazing cab. I honestly think my Engl sounds better through the vintage 30s. It's not like night and day, but it's got that nice that brightness to it that I like for the Engl. And I haven't tried my Splawn through it yet, but I'm gonna, and I'm sure it'll sound really good through those as well. Let's see here. Yeah, Sean says, I was impressed with the JP amp. I'm telling you guys, if you're a fan of the JP amp, definitely get some G12s, K100s, and man, you're going to be shocked at how much better it sounds. It's amazing. Let's see, Mule Blues, what's happening? He says, why is it that 90% of rock amp makers match with vintage 30s? Scott Fulmer, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you here. He says, howdy. I don't know. I think it's kind of like an industry standard, kind of like an SM57. You know what I mean? It's like they've just been industry standard for so long. But what's cool is there's kind of a revolution in speakers now. I'm seeing the D77s come out. Obviously with the G12s I've just discovered and fell in love with. So I think people are starting to figure out, like, look, it's not all about vintage 30s anymore. I mean, even though they're great speakers, sometimes it's good to change things up and have a couple different cabs or at least some speakers that you can swap out as needed, because it really does make a huge difference. And whether or not they sound vastly different than another one, some of them will just have those frequencies that you've been craving, and then all of a sudden you hear them and you're like, oh, there it is. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what'd you do is like change the speakers. As soon as I got this Diezel cab, immediately I was like, oh my God, there were certain amps that I just liked even more. So that cab's going to stay there for a while before I swap it back out for the V30 cab, because it just sounds perfect, you know, really does. Let's see here. CG says, oh, damn it, we missed Sunday for the game. Probably would have had more fun with you guys. Yeah, well, we missed you too, buddy. But you can do it on the rewatch. We had a great time. We had a lot of shootouts and stuff, and it was really fun. We ran the gauntlet for free for everybody that night, and it was really cool. Yeah, we had our own Super Bowl, so you can always watch it on the rewatch. Just fast forward to where we start doing the shootout, and you'll see the gear cam, or the you know, the gauntlet cam, and that's where, you know, we started doing all that. Where's the camera at? Yeah, you'll see that. So when you see that, that's when you know we start doing the switching. What's up, Juan? What's happening, buddy? Good to see you here. Steve says it's like having the fastest race car without crappy tires. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, it just sounds amazing. So let me play a few more riffs on it by itself so you can hear it. Let me mute the mic, and here we go. Mute the mic. Yeah, freaking sounds full and thick. I really think that again, this is just my opinion, my taste, you know, what I look for, but for some reason the amp wasn't putting out the frequencies or whatever that I was looking for when I had the vintage 30s, but with these G12 K100s, I got no complaints. I just think it sounds like I want it to. So really, really nice difference there. Jason Lewis says, hey Jarrod, I was wondering if you have access to or have tried any Eminence speakers, if possible, the CV75 or the Plus, Wizard, or Texas Heat, Swamp Thing. They are all killer speakers. You know, I played a cab with Texas Heats in them, and I liked it. It's been a while. It's been like about 3 years. But, yeah, one of these nights, I'm going to try to get a couple of cabs down here, and we can... I don't know how I'm going to mic it all up the same, you know, while I'm in the live stream. Maybe I'll have to do it on a produced episode, but I want to do that because it does make a huge difference, you know. And again, like, what I've learned since I have several cabs now is, like, I just cycle through them. If I got an amp down here from Motor City and I'm just not gelling with it, I'll swap cabs out and I'll be like, oh, there it is. And a lot of times that's what it is. And sometimes amp makers, it's good to talk to them, especially if you can get a hold of them. I know some of them you can't, but sometimes it's good to like call them and say, what did you voice this amp for? Like, what speakers? It doesn't mean that you have to use those, but at least you have an idea of why they put those circuits in there the way they did and dialed in the voicing the way they did is because they tested it with certain speakers, you know, and they definitely do it for tubes. I mean, why not do it for speakers too? I would say speakers have a bigger bigger say over your sound than tubes do. So I mean, all that stuff matters. So it's always good to check with them if you can and see, and then at least you have something to go off of, and then obviously tweak it from there to your taste if you need to. So yeah, it's definitely a good idea to do, you know. Yeah, there's no fizz or harshness, Steve says. Yeah, I mean, the vintage 30s are great for cutting through a mix, but they can be a bit harsh sometimes depending on the amp and how you have it dialed in. If you have a darker amp, vintage 30s are great for that because they give it that kind of nice edge that it needs, you know. Let's see. Brad says, Brad Shinkby says, I use a Poltergeist amplification 1x15 Witchbox under my Mesa. It's opened up the doors of my tone. The low end punch and articulation is beyond I imagined in a 15-inch speaker could do. Yeah, I can't wait to hear that thing, man. I bet you that thing's going to shake the house. JJ's House of Jams, he says, Mesa Vintage 30s are custom voiced for them by Celestion, different to regular Vintage 30. Yep, that's true. Let's see here. Oh, good. I'm glad Matt is in here answering questions for Motor City. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Matt's a good dude, man. If you guys need anything, like I said, Motor City's got great staff, man, and Matt's one of the best. So, yeah. Vagenda says, my Blues Breaker has two 15-watt Celestion greenbacks. It's so warm, but I never see the 15-watt ones elsewhere. Anybody know why? Oh, that's a good question. It's a really good question. All right, so we got 43 people here. Again, cheers. Let me do another mix. Let's just do some standard stuff here to warm up so you guys can hear this. Let me see here. I'm just going to do a couple typical ones just to get my hands warmed up and get my nerves going here. And then we'll do some more fun stuff. Hang on. Oh, that was fun, man. I'm telling you, there's nothing like playing an amp that is there for you. If you guys know what I mean. Like, when you play it and you want to do something like a pinch harmonic or have that nice sustain or, you know, whatever, just some crazy note that you want to get out of it, and it like does it. You know, it's so nice to know that it's there. You know, here's a weird example. I used to work at a carpet store, and me and one dude were always unloading the trucks, and it sucks when you got a big ream of carpet on your shoulder and he's behind you and he drops it and it bounces off your shoulder and comes down on you, and you're like, dude, you know, we're both in this together. If one of us drops it, the other one's going to have spinal injuries. It's nice to know when somebody's there. They got their end of the thing. Like, it's the same thing with an amp. It's so nice when an amp it carries its end, you know, and it responds the way that you want it to. And I'm telling you, man, this is the first time. This is the first for me tonight that I've really enjoyed playing a Friedman as much as I'm playing right now. I've always thought they were good, but I just thought that, man, it just doesn't work for me. But I'm telling you, if you have an amp that just doesn't work for you, but you know it's a good amp, get a different cab, get some different speakers or something, and you're going to find yourself kind of amazed at how much more improved it is for you. So you're kind of witnessing a cool thing here tonight. Jason Taylor, what's up, man? He says, thanks for the super chat, by the way. Thank you so much. He says, sounds great. I missed the backstory on this one. And whenever you're borrowing it, and whether you're borrowing it or bought it, either way, I'm digging it. Thanks. Yeah, so Motor City allowed me to take it home tonight, so I could do a review. I never had a BE 100 on the show, so I figured this was time. It was time to do it, and I'm glad I picked tonight to do it, as opposed to before I got my Diezel cab, because before this, I've played these amps and again thought they were good, but just didn't 100% gel with me. But tonight it is, because of the cab. It really is. It made a huge difference. So, and there's probably plenty of people here right now that have vintage 30s or greenbacks with their Friedman, and they're like, I don't see the problem. I think it sounds great. And you know what? Stick with what you like, you know. But it's worth trying the G12s, man. I'm telling you. It really is. Let's see here. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Just tag Tone Wars at Tone Wars, and I'll make sure I see your comments. So I try not to miss anybody. LOL says, sounds very juicy. What about other voices on BE? So I have it on the HBE right now, which to me is like what works, you know. I got the gain up pretty high. It's not cranked, but it's almost cranked, you know, because I'm playing rhythm and lead on it. And there's a saturation switch on the back that adds a little more compression to it. I ended up turning that off. I like it both ways, but I ended up cranking. I had to crank the amp pretty high to get what I wanted out of it, which is fine. But I just wanted to keep the master, you know, below, at least not past noon. So, as it's not my amp, I don't want to push it too hard. I don't know what's appropriate or not, so I'm just trying to be respectful. But yeah, with that switch, it definitely adds some compression, and it's really nice. It's a little thicker, yeah. So I have that off tonight, and I got it on HBE mode. Let me go through the different modes. Oh, Scott Fulmer, thanks, man. He says, thank you, Jarrod. Thank you for giving us new perspectives on amps and tones. You're welcome, man. Thanks for the super chat. That's what I like to do, man. I mean, basically this channel's about I'm learning things and just sharing things with you guys that I've learned, you know? I mean, that's what it is. I learn something new every week, you know? And it's nice, and I just want to share it with you guys because I don't want you guys to miss out on some of the things that I've learned. So let me switch from HBE to BE mode. 1 second. Yeah, I just noticed a little bit more gain, you know, a little more, well, no more hair, I guess that's what they call it, right? So it's a little more aggressive with HBE on. And that's the way I look at like most of these amps. I always say I paid for it, so I'm using it. So if there's a switch on it that makes it sound a little better, I'll use it, because not because it just sounds better, but I paid for it. So I'm going to engage that switch, you know. Now, if it doesn't make it sound better, I'll turn it off, but I appreciate the option. Anyway, I don't have my glasses, so I apologize if I read your names wrong. Fectino, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. The Diezel G12 is an absolute killer for many of your amps, for what I've heard so far. Oh, thanks, man. No, it is. I mean, seriously, I was nervous when I got it, but because like I said, I'm such a loyalist with the vintage 30s. I was like, oh, it's probably gonna sound this or that. And I was like, immediately, like, holy crap, this thing sounds amazing. I mean, I love this cab. I really freaking do. And it made my Diezel sound better, too, because the Diezel was voiced for those. So as soon as I hooked that cab up, I was like, I'm home. Like, I wonder if it'll do it for the rest of my amps. And sure enough, it did. Again, I think the Engl sounds great through both of them, but it has a little more cut on the vintage 30s. And I could go either way, but, you know, I'll have to compare them again. Let's see here. Oh, looks like you guys are conversing with Matt. Matt's a good guy. Seriously, like, click the link below and, you know, get anything you need at Motor City. And they're a great store to deal with. You're dealing with real people working in a real brick and mortar store that's been around for over 30 years, you know, and they're actually a pinnacle in our community here. A great store. So, yeah, appreciate it very much. It helps them, helps you, and helps the channel. So, helps everybody. Bass on 10, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this, it's kind of like that Marshall. It's got that, it's a modded Marshall, basically. So, Marshalls, you dimed everything. You know, I didn't dime everything. I didn't dime the mids and the treble, but I dimed the bass because it's all usable. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people think, wow, your bass is at 10. Well, 10 on this amp is like probably, I don't know, where's my Engl at? Noon on my Engl. You know, I mean, it's just the way it is. But you know what I can do? Let me play a riff through my looper pedal, and I'll go ahead and turn the bass knob for you so you can hear the difference on what it sounds like. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, it's all usable. So I like a big fat low end. I like an amp that's got a lot of punch behind it, you know. So that's why I have it dialed in like that, you know. But again, dial it into your taste. I mean, it's all usable. It's great. That's a thing a lot of amps are doing nowadays. Like even Rev, like a lot of their stuff on their amps, it's all usable. You can turn a lot of the stuff all the way up, and it's like, why are my eyes telling me this is wrong, but my ears are telling me it sounds great? So that's really what it is. When I was speaking to Scott Splawn the other day about my Splawn and best way to dial it in, you know, we had that conversation. Like, you dial amps in with your ears, not your eyes, you know. And because I was putting stuff on the Splawn in some pretty uncomfortable settings with my eyes, but my ears were like, well, that's what it needs to do to sound what it needs to sound like, in my opinion. And he was like, yeah, it's totally fine. You can do all that stuff. So anyway, so yeah, definitely, you know, again, because like bass on this amp at the settings that it's at are completely different on every other amp out there. They're all voiced differently. You know, like a Mesa, any of the Mesa amps, you wouldn't do that. Maybe the Badlander, you could probably get away with it. But all their older amps, if you turn the bass up that loud, it would be a big muddy mess. But on this one, not so much, because it's a different, you know, different knob with different settings. Bruce Clark, what's happening? He says, do you like the amp? Yes, I do. Yep, this is the first time I've actually really gelled and enjoyed a Friedman amp as much as I'm enjoying it tonight. And a lot of it has to do with the cab. With the vintage 30s, I liked them, but I wanted to like it more. And with the Diezel cab and the G12s, it's like perfect for me. Matt Taylor says, vintage 30s are too standard to be everyone's genuine favorite speaker. We all need to experiment with more speaker types. You know what? I agree with you 100%. And I was stuck on them for years. I mean, years and years and years. And I'm telling you, this is coming from a loyalist who's very stubborn and doesn't like to make changes on standard type stuff. I'm so glad that I was open-minded enough to check out something different, because man, am I loving these other speakers big time. So yeah. Delta Fit, yeah, totally usable. Isn't that crazy? Like, who would have thought you could put the bass to 10 and have it like sound good, you know? But it works, you know. It's awesome. Yeah, most amps would fart out. Oh yeah, it'd be a big farty mess. Brad Shimke, I back everything said about Motor City Guitar. It's been my favorite store since I moved to Metro Detroit in 1999. That's right, man. I've even seen Brad from time to time. We go in there and I'm like, hey, I know you. Yeah, it's a watering hole for all the musicians around here. It's nice. Factino says, how does a JP sound with the Diezel G12? I'm considering that Diezel G12 from a JP. You know what, buddy? I'm going to warm it up for you right now. All right, so since I have the switcher, I can actually tell you that's what we do here. So let's give that a minute to warm up, and then I'll switch to it and show you. I'll be happy to do that for you. Dean says, if you missed Sunday, the JP ruled the show. Right, dude. It was so good to see you here, Dean. We had a good time. Yeah, the JP just killed on Sunday night. It just sounded amazing. I'm surprised that John Petrucci hasn't switched to the G12s yet, because I honestly think they sound better with the JP than any other speaker I've ever tried. They really do. They make it less focused and just, it's got this nice, really even-keeled, big, fat sound. It's not so focused anymore. It just sounds amazing, you know. So, well, while we're waiting, okay, let me find another mix. Bear with me 1 second here. I got like a bunch of mixes here. I just got to find it. There it is. Where is it? Make sure the volume's good. Yeah, this is kind of a newer one. Hopefully I can play this properly. Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. Ah, made it. Not too bad. I'll get tighter and tighter with that one as I go. I think that's only the first or second time I played that live, so thanks, LOL. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. The GK Bruce Clark says the G12 K100s are good for metal. I like. Yeah, they really are, man. They're just such a balanced speaker. You know, one thing you guys want to do too is you can always go online and Google frequency sweep of said speaker, whatever speaker, and screenshot it. And then do the same thing with like whatever speakers you're trying to compare to or whatever. And then you can see, it'll show you where they dip and where they, you know, go up and down, and you can line them up and see where they differ. And it's amazing, like how different they are, you know, especially in the high end. A lot of them really differ in the high mids to the high end, and that's really where all that voicing changes. All those really matter. So I don't know, for some reason the G12s are just freaking killing it for me. So Jason Taylor says I'm also interested in the JP with the G12s. But if you're in a good mood, how does it sound with the Stealth? Since I recently picked that up as well. Yeah, I can fire up the Stealth for you. Absolutely, anything for you guys, man. That's why I'm here, Jason. You've been here a long time, and I appreciate you very much. So I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks, Dean. It's always a pleasure to have you here, man. Let's see here. Sounds killer, Sean says. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a great, Kyle Bull, what's happening, man? Good to see you here. Kyle puts out a lot of great content. He'll sit next to an amp and screw around with it and tweak it and play some riffs on it and stuff for you. And his videos are really quick and to the point. And I really like his take on stuff. I've been watching his channel for probably about 3 weeks now. I found him and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. He just sits next to an amp and just does his thing and has a lot of really good information. So if you guys haven't checked out his channel, you might want to. It's a really cool channel. Very quick, to the point, very informative, just how we like it, right? And I'm a big blabbermouth, so so that's where everything changes over here. I'm a big blabbermouth. Gunnerman says, I didn't gel with the speakers on the EVH 212, so I put vintage 30s in it. Liked it a whole lot better, but can't wait for my G12s to come in to try on the EVH cab. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah, what speakers came? The one speaker I absolutely that doesn't work for me are the Sheffields, man. Every time I play them, I'm like, oh, God, these are just shrill and thin. I like big, fat, boomy speakers with a nice cut on the top end and some good mids. That's what I'm after. Let's see here. Kyle says the BE100 started the Friedman craze. Good choice. Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's a great cab, or great amp so far. Again, I'm liking it more with the G12s. Okay. Let's see here. What's up with the Zilla cab? Jason says, oh, it's doing well. I'm going to fill it with the D77s. I haven't played it in a while because I'm waiting for the D77. It's got a redback in it and a vintage 30. And I think it sounds good, but the redback's just not gelling with me for some reason. So I'm probably gonna swap it out for the D77s when they come out. So, and then I'll do a video about it. So again, the redback's fine, but there's just something missing there. And I think the D77s are going to be the cure. So, so yeah, let me bear with me a second here. Let me turn this amp on. There we go. So let that one heat up. All right, so you guys are going to hear the JP. Now let me make sure it's volume matched with everything. I didn't do that tonight, so bear with me a second, and I'll switch to it. Two words. Get those speakers. I know it's three, but whatever. Get those speakers. They seriously, they really made such a nice improvement on that amplifier. They gave it that nice spread on the top end that I like and made it less focused and narrow. And man, that amp just sounds so much more aggressive and so much more ridiculous with those speakers, in my opinion. You know, it really works very well. Love it. I even think if, well, my pick crawled out from underneath me. I even think that if Petrucci heard it with those, he'd be like, man, what am I doing with these vintage 30s? Maybe I should switch. Who knows? Maybe he has already tried it, but I mean, it just sounds amazing, you know. Let's see. The Channel for Everything. What's up, buddy? He says, damn, this thing is sounding absolutely crazy. So martially, yet so saturated. Yeah, I mean, what you just heard is the JP. Let me see here. Where is my other camera? There. So we're on the JP Mark II C Plus right now, and it just sounds incredible with these speakers. I'll switch back to you know what I'll do? I'll switch back and forth. Right? Okay. Just give you a quick switch. Hang on one second. Okay, so I have it marked Diezel because that's the Diezel spot, but it's actually the Diezel spot is interchangeable with whatever amp I have on each week. So tonight happens to be the Friedman BE. So didn't put a new sticker on it, so my apologies. But yeah, that's what it was between was the JP and the BE 100. Yeah, the JP is just, oh my god, that amp's just freaking ridiculous. It really is. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Dream Theater live in concert, but I've seen them several times. And every time I'm there, I literally just close my eyes and bask in the glory of John Petrucci's tone and his playing. And I could sit there all night with my eyes closed and just soak it in. It's so freaking amazing. It sounds absolutely just incredible. His lead tone is the best lead tone I've ever heard in my life. It just sounds so good. So, yeah, and in my opinion, with this cab, it sounds even better. Let's see here. Let's see, Channel for Everything. Yeah, we hear with our eyes, don't we? Channel for Everything. It happens. I've been guilty of that myself. Okay, yeah, the JP it's just a ridiculous amp, you know. It really is. I mean, especially for what I do. I mean, it's just one of the best amps out there. But I'm really digging the Friedman more than I ever have before. You know, it's definitely doing a great job tonight with all the shreds and stuff. Let me switch guitars. Sorry to turn my back on you here, but must switch. Must be careful not to scratch. Oh, there we go. And going to play a couple more mixes for you, and I turned on a few other amps that I think that people would want to compare this to, so we could do the Gauntlet in a few, you know, and check that out. So make sure I'm tuned up here. And again, I very much appreciate everybody being here tonight. It's cold as hell here in Michigan right now. It's really freaking cold tonight. It's like single digits. I was washing trucks last night in this stuff, man. It was not fun. But that's what I do for a living, and that's why I play hard, because I work hard. And if you can't work as hard as if you can't play as hard as you work, then you're doing something wrong, right? All right, let me try this guitar out with a mixer too. Just gotta find it. There we go. Turn that up. All right, 1 second, guys. Man, I was having a hard time hearing the backing track on that one. I gotta fix that later. I'm like, Oh, my head, I'm behind. Whatever. As long as you guys can hear it. Okay, so remind me, I got to do the EVH. It's cooking right now, so we'll get it up there in a minute. Let's see here. Sorry, I got to find... Oh, Garv, what's happening, buddy? Dude, Garv's an amazing guitar player from India, and this dude can shred. I love your videos, dude. You're amazing. He said, you and I both love the JP tone. Oh, it's sick. I love his tone so much, you know. You're welcome, Facchino. I hope I'm saying your name right. You're very welcome. Jason Lewis, the redback is more rock-oriented, similar to the cream greenback, so I can see how you may not dig the... Oh, okay. If the D77 doesn't work, look for a CV75, Swamp Thing, or Texas Heat combo. Thank you. I will definitely keep that in mind. Screenshot. Thank you. As I am new to the whole trying out new speakers kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because I was stuck on V30s for a long time. Still love them. Still think they're amazing. But we're gonna start seeing other people. You know. Bruce Clark, love that purple guitar. Oh, thanks, man. I love it too. This is my favorite guitar. The JP Majesty Monarchy series with the neck-through design. These are freaking ridiculous guitars. They practically play themselves, you know. So if you hear any mistakes, it's because the guitar was playing itself and made the mistake. I didn't want it to do that, but it decided to do it on its own. So the mistakes are all because of the guitar. No, seriously, though, these really are very good guitars. They play awesome. Let's see here. Dean says, every amp in the background is killer. I think the real story is the speakers. You're right. I have the EVH 50 Stealth and love it, but the JP Mesa with those 100s has something special where the V30s, it'd be the 5150. Yeah. Oh my God. The JP just got a shot of steroids by playing through the G12s. All right, so Jason wanted me to play the Stealth through what am I on the blue channel, through the Diezel cab. So I will do that now. Give me 1 second, okay? Okay, that was the blue channel. So I just think it sounds really nice through it. I really do. You could go either way. The V30s or you know, the K100s. They're both great, you know, with that amplifier. They really are. Kyle says the Vintage 30 is classic for a reason, but there are definitely some awesome alternatives out there. Yeah, you're right, dude. I mean, I'm really digging these K100s. They're freaking awesome. Brad Shemke says, yeah, it's definitely time to evolve our tone from the Vintage 30s. Yeah, yep, I think it's good to have them. Just like the SM57 mic, right? Like, it's a staple. Like, you can't go on a stage anywhere in this country, or probably even in other countries, without having a sound engineer slap a vintage or a you know, SM57 in front of your cab. It's just normal. you know, but it's nice to have. I mean, I'm using that tonight. I got a vintage 30, or gosh, I keep saying vintage 30. I have an SM57, but I have it paired with the Royer R10 ribbon mic, and with the pair together, it's just magic, you know. I think the SM57 is a great mic, but I really prefer it paired with something that gives it some bottom end, and helps blend in some low end and some smooth top end to you know, make up for that kind of aggressive honk that it has. You know, you could pull it out with EQ, but I'd rather just mix another mic with it. There's no EQ on these mics at all. They're flat. There's nothing on them, no compression, no EQ. I run everything about as natural as you can get it, so that when people watch the show, they're not going, oh yeah, but he's got all this post-processing on everything, so that's why it sounds good. No, there's no post-processing on anything. No compression, no EQ, no nothing. Everything is raw, you know. So that's how I do it, because I want people to have the truth here. Like, and the thing is, you know, if you buy one of these, I don't see any money, you know, so I'm not trying to sell something so that I can line my pockets, you know what I mean? I'm just here to be honest with you guys so that you guys can make the right decision on what works best for you, you know. Let's see here. Jacob Allen says, that's a cool guitar and all, but have you played a first act guitar before? I miss you, man. Can't find you on Facebook anymore. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I miss hanging out with a lot of my, you know, friends and people I know on Facebook. But I decided, you know, as far as that goes, honestly, I just want to get back to real life. You know, I found that I spent too much time on it, and for me, it was just too distracting. And I just felt like just getting up and just living my life the way I want to, and having it mean something to me worked better. You know, I just wasn't so distracted. I'm a squirrel chaser, so it's you know, the less distraction I have in my life, the better off I am, and the more I get done, and the happier I am. Because as you guys know, there's a lot of stuff on social media that's just really negative, and it can bring you down. And I got tired of it, so I'm like, you know what? I don't need it. You know, I'll just come on here and hang out with all my favorite people here, and live my life in the real, you know. Again, nothing wrong with people being on Facebook. It was just too distracting and negative for me. But if you like it, God bless you. I'm happy that you're enjoying yourself there. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong. Let's see. Guar wants me to play the Mark II C+ amp on the lead channel. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Let me find a mix that would be appropriate. Ooh, I've got quite the mix for you. Yes, let's switch to that. Where is that? That's number 3. I hope that it's not too loud for this mix. So give me a second here, okay? There you go. Yeah. Yep, that amp never fails. Just very pleasing to the ears and the hands. I was dealing with a pedal that was interfering with my wah. I got to fix that later. I was leaning into my wah and I was letting off on it and was catching it. I was going to try a new pedal tonight, but it didn't work out. I crammed it in my board and it's interfering with things, but too late to move it now. God, eesh. Okay, so Jason Lewis got a jet. 10 starts again. 10 stars again. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks so much for being here, buddy. Let's see here. Don't really get on Facebook. Bruce Clark, that's the way to be. Yeah, it's just, I honestly, like, I'm said on Facebook, I'm going to revisit it in 90 days and maybe I'll come back. And it was just a thing. I put it out there because I didn't want people to think I blocked them. Because if you look me up, it just says can't be found or whatever. And it looks like I blocked you, but I didn't. I shut the page down. It's temporary, but after 90 days, I'm going to revisit it and maybe come back. But honestly, I'm not coming back. I mean, unless something changes, I don't see any reason to come back. I've been much happier, less stressed out, and got a lot more done around here and in other parts of my life. So it's been great. Oh my God, it's like, how did I ever get anything done with that? But again, if you're on it and you like it, hey, more power to you. It just doesn't work for me, not anymore. It's been a long time, and it's time for me to get on with real life, Only real life matters is amps. That's right, Kyle. It's the only thing that matters. Real amps. Yeah, the Mark II, I'm telling you guys, like the Mark II C Plus is like, it's just a stupid amp. It's just so good. It's oh my God, I love that amp so much, Matthew Robbins says, makes you wonder why they ever needed a Mark III, 4, and 5. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I got the Mark V 25 behind me. I got that at Motor City. Love it. I think it's great. The Mark II C Plus circuit, it's a little more focused than the Mark IV or Mark V. The Mark V's just got a little more width to it. It's weird. Like, as soon as you can actually hear the sound when you switch the circuit on the Mark V 25 from Mark V or Mark IV to Mark II C Plus, you can hear it. Like, I'm just giving an example. I don't know. It's like, it looks like I'm telling fish stories, but so like, let's say the width of the sound on the Mark IV setting is like this. As soon as you go to Mark II, it goes like this. You can hear the sound narrow and like get more focused. It's not a bad thing. Some people really like that, and it's great for mixes, and it's just got that really percussive, like, cut through the mix, but in a good way kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's a great amp for that. But with these speakers, it's amazing. Like, you'll hear it go from here to maybe here. They give it that width that I really like. So, yeah, it's kind of nice. Let's see here. So Gunnerman says, try it with your 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, again, method. You mean with the gain? I can do that. So let me use, so I'm going to be on the, play the looper pedal here, and I'll play a riff through it. I'll mute the room mic. So we are on, let me get back to, oops. Let me get back to the, Friedman here, and I'll move the knobs. I'll move them all. So I'll start with the gain. I'll do 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all the way up, and I'll move all the other knobs for you so you can hear what they do. 1 second. There you go. So that's all the knobs there, and yeah, I ended up turning the presence up a little louder this time, a little more. If you put it all the way up, it gets pretty shrill, but yeah, you know, it's the way it is. Yeah, it's got a lot of usable frequencies, usable settings. I like the fact that it's got the BE and HBE. I prefer the HBE. I like an amp that has a lot of compression, saturation, fullness, but a lot of attack and punch, you know, and with these settings, that's what I found with this amplifier that works for me. Everybody's different. Some people like a very open, airy amp. They don't usually work for me. I like that big, fat wall of sound kind of thing, you know? You know, in a mix, like in a studio, it's a little different. But the thing is you got to keep in mind when someone's mixing your stuff, they're usually reamping. You're not even there. You've already played your stuff through an amp or a sim or something that was set up the way you liked it, that felt good for your hands and sounded good enough to play your stuff to. And then afterwards, that all gets chopped and sliced and diced to fit in a mix properly, because now it's got to fit in a mix with bass, keys, drums, whatever, vocals, all that stuff. And a lot of the low end gets cut out. Some of the top end does. They do a high and low pass filter, pull the 4K down a couple dBs, you know, and they start messing around with it. And you're not there. You're not playing. You've already played your stuff through something that sounded and felt the way you wanted it to. So now all that stuff gets taken out, you know. But I like all this stuff because I mean, in a studio, you're going to be playing your amp in a studio maybe 5% of the time that you own your amp. 90 to 95% of the time you're going to be playing it in a room, band practice, or on stage. So to me, it's got to have all that stuff. So that's an argument that I see all the time in message boards and stuff. Yeah, but in a mix, it's like, well, hang on, you know, you're not really playing your amp in a mix in a studio. The engineer is with a mouse, you know. I mean, he's basically just reamping through an amp that you're not even playing. So it doesn't really matter. Like, it matters, but it doesn't. Like, so as a player, you want to pick an amp that has all the stuff that you like when you play it. Because, again, you're going to play your amp at home most of the time, on stage some of the time, and in the studio very, very little of the time. You know, and even when you do play it in the studio, like I said, afterwards, it's all going to get reamped and tweaked anyway. So what matters is, how does it sound in a room? How does it feel? How does it respond to your style of playing? So, and that's really what matters, you know. So I would, you know, not pay so much attention to all the, but what about, you know, the mix thing? Because any studio engineer worth his salt can make anything sound great in a mix. It's all EQ, compression, layering, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, again, it has to sound and feel good, because we listen with our hands, you know, and like with one guy said earlier, we listen with our eyes too sometimes, and you're right, we do. But we listen with our hands. You know, if an amp feels terrible, we're going to think it sounds terrible. Just the way it is. But you'll hear that amp in a mix and be like, oh man, the amp's amazing. I can't wait to play that. And you do, and you hate it because it doesn't feel right to you. So a lot of it is feel. And I'm going to have Scott Splawn on. We're going to do a live stream with him and an interview. And there's some stuff that I've learned, you know, that I can't wait to share with you guys. That's really cool, nerdy stuff. You know, so I can't wait to discuss that with you guys in the near future as far as the feel goes. Let's see here. Jeff Cornell, what's going on, buddy? What's happening? It's always good to see Jeff here. How does the... So Bruce Clark says, how does the vintage 30s compare to the G12 K100s from what you are hearing? Thanks. Well, Bruce, it's a good question. So what I'm hearing in the G12s is a more even-keeled kind of frequency response. Like, if you look at the frequency response, there's some dips and pushes in there, but they just seem more even along the frequencies that our ears like, in my opinion. They're not as focused, and they don't have anything harsh on them. There's no harsh top end. There's a really nice grainy breakup on them, and they just have this really full kind of like sound. You can stand right in front of the cab, and it doesn't bother your ears unless it's super loud, obviously. But I mean, even then, it's not harsh frequencies that are bugging your ears. It's just overall volume. So they just have a really nice balanced sound. You know, not too much or too little of anything. They just have this really even-keeled kind of throw. And I like that because, again, here's the thing to think about. Like, some amps actually push, you know, more frequencies than they do others. So if you're playing through a speaker that pushes those frequencies as well, now you're getting like a double push on those frequencies. And now it's like, oh, that amp's harsh. Well, maybe it's not the amp. It might be the speakers. You know, and if you play that amp through a more even-keeled speaker, you're not going to get those pushes, you know, that double push. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that at least give them a shot, or find something, you know, I'm not trying to sell you G12s, but I mean, find something. Look at the frequency sweeps on them, and you'll be surprised at how they vary. You know, it's crazy how they vary, you know. And even if you line them up and one's pushing like 10K more than this one's pushing 9K, but I'm telling you, man, there's a difference. There's a big difference between 9 and 10K. One's more harsh than the other, you know, so it's pretty, you know, pretty cool to get into the nerdery. Let's see here. It's always good to see my buddy Jeff Cornell here. He's a big Splawn fan, and he helped me out with my Splawn, so I appreciate him being here. Let's see here. Any update on the nitro? Oh, it was just a bad fuse. All it was a bad fuse. I got the nitro fired up and ready tonight. Yeah, let's have a little fun with the gauntlet here. 1 second.
Okay, we've heard the amp in some mixes, and we've heard it all by itself. We've turned some knobs and made some tweaks and put it through its paces, and it's survived so far. Now, let's see how it does when it's compared to some really good contenders. Now this is the part of the show where we turn it over to you guys, the metal mob. So this is how it works. For a super chat of any amount, you get to pick an amp from Jarrod's amazing and ever-growing amp collection that the contender will compete with. And because of the KHE amp switcher, you'll get a direct comparison between them. And if you wish, you also get to pick the mix that you want them to compete in. Then you get to be the judge of which one lives and which one dies. So get your picks ready and let's get started. Welcome
to the Gauntlet.
Okay, little technical difficulties there. All right, so here's what I will do. Let me get the turn the amp cam off, and then we will do the okay. So again, I apologize. I didn't get time to. It's on Diezel, but Diezel is BE 100. Okay, that's the cables I use for the Diezel are long enough to swap out to hook up to this, and I didn't. You know, didn't print a new sticker tonight for that, so I apologize. So Diezel is Friedman BE 100. So what I'll do is I'll shoot it out with whatever you guys want. Right now, currently, I have the Engl Savage on. I have the Splawn Nitro. I'll go ahead and fire up the Cherrytone Molecular. And I have the JP, the EVH, and just for giggles, I'll throw on the old KSR as well. So I'll get those heating up for you, and just tag Tone Wars or do a super chat. Yeah, and for any amount, just a couple bucks, whatever. I'm just trying to, you know, earn my supper here by doing all these switching and all this for you guys. And I'll just play a loop through the pedal and switch for you, and you can hear the difference between different amplifiers and see how they compare to the BE 100. We do this because a lot of people like to see how an amp compares to other amplifiers. You know, it's a big deal. Which one has more gain, which one has better mids or more top end, or you know, whatever, more blow end or whatever. And yeah, they'll vary a little bit too because I have them dialed in a certain way, but at least you get an idea of the voicing differences between them, and it does make choosing an amp, you know, a little easier for you. You know, so it's just something that we do here for fun. Jeff says, yeah, good to hear. It was just a bad fuse. Yeah, it was just a bad fuse. I called Scott, and he's like, yeah, sometimes I get a run on some bad fuses, and, you know, it just blew a slow blow fuse, and I popped a new one in, and so far, it's been great. So, no issues. Sometimes it's a tube issue, you know, that happens from time to time, but no big deal. Brad Shemke, does Carrie get paid for these? Yeah. She should, right? Oh, wow, we got 3 requests coming in, one right after another. Gunnerman, Daryl, and CS. Thank you, guys. Friedman versus Splawn, Gunnerman says. Absolutely. I'll get to all you guys in same order. Let me mute the mic, and I will go between the two. And I'll even turn knobs for you, too, to make it fair. So, 1 second, and we'll go Friedman versus Splawn. Okay, so again, Diezel is BE 100, just for anybody that's watching now and missed that. Again, sorry I didn't make a new sticker, but it's just been a crazy day. I almost didn't do the gauntlet tonight, so I was kind of slipped my mind. So Daryl wants BE 100. Oh, BE 100 versus Splawn. Hey Daryl, since I already did that, feel free to pick something else. I don't want your money to be wasted. So thank you very much, and pick whatever you want, and I'll do those instead for you. Oh, and CS, same thing for you. Everybody wanted to see how it compared to the Splawn. I know why, because they're both modded marshals, so I totally get it. So, so I definitely, like I said, I want you guys to get your money's worth. So Daryl and CS, pick whatever other, shootout you want, and I'll be happy to do those for you. So just tag Tone Wars so I see it. I don't want to miss it. Justin Ellis, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well also. Thank you. Let's see here. So you like the Friedman better, Gunnerman. Okay, gotcha. That's why we do this. They both sound great. They do. They both sound amazing. I love them. Splawn still sounds awesome. It does. It really does. It's a great amp. Let's see here. Bobcat, Steve Stevens, Friedman versus BE 100. Oh, I'd love to do that. I wish I could get a hold of one. That'd be nice. So Daryl and CS, pick whatever other shootouts you want, and I'll do it. Okay, Daryl said Splawn versus KSR. All right, let's do that. Let me fire up the KSR. What number is that? That is number 7. Okay, so 4 and 7. All right, let me find a different riff here. 1 second, guys. Splawn versus KSR. Okay, there you go. There's the 2 of those. CS, Splawn versus Cherrytone Molecular. Ah, that's going to be a good one there. All right. I haven't volume matched that one tonight, but let me see. So bear with me a second if I got to turn a few knobs, but I'll be happy to do that for you. So Splawn and Cherrytone, I think that's 4 and 5. Yes, it is. All right, 1 second here, guys. Okay, so there's those two. Pretty close. There's some differences, but I mean, they both sounded really good. That's the thing, man. When you have a wall of amps that just, these are all great to play and fun to play, and they sound amazing to me. I mean, it's hard to choose a favorite. I think some of you guys already know my favorite. I mean, it's one that just does it for me every time. They all work very well, and I love them all, but there's, you know, there's one here that just is incredible. Let's see here. So Daryl says he liked the molecular better. Okay. That's why I do this, so everybody can pick, you know, what works best for them, you know. There's no right or wrong answer, you know. Bruce Clark says KSR has even more sound. Yeah, the KSR is a ridiculous amp. It loves to be recorded. Daryl, what's the price difference? Between, what was it that we just did? What did I just do? Oh, the Cherrytone. If you're asking between the Cherrytone and the Splawn's around $2,000-ish, and the Cherrytone molecular is around $1,400. $13,500, $1,400, right around there. Let's see here. Yeah, they're both really good. I mean, you could toss a coin. It just depends. I will say, though, between the two, as far as the effects loop is concerned, I use the HELIX for all the effects and switching and stuff. So the Splawn Nitro works with the HELIX perfectly. The Cherrytone, I'm having trouble getting the effects to go through the effects loop properly. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with it. It just means that some effects loops just don't gel with certain products. So definitely keep that in mind before you buy an amp. Like, talk with the builder and see, like, tell them, like, this is what I use for effects. Is that going to work with it? And maybe if it's especially if it's a boutique guy, he can tell you, well, then you need this type of effects loop. I'll put that in for you. So it just depends. So, you know, food for thought, you know. So yes, the Savage, who doesn't know that? Yeah, that thing right there is the sexiest freaking beast I've ever played through. The Savage is just, oh, it just works, man. Oh my God, it just does it for me every time. Jeff Cornell, is it the Savage? Yeah, it's the Savage. I mean, I love all these amps, but every time I play that amp, man, yeah, it's just insane. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Hackett's Flames, I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Flame. If you created a room of these columns of amps, one for each lineage or whatever, Marshall 2203, slow or other like Mesa, what might you put into the Marshall lineage column? Where would Diezel sit? Good question. I think the Marshall, the JVM, I haven't played a lot of Marshalls, but the JVM I had on here was the only one I gelled with so far. Doesn't mean I wouldn't gel with other ones, but the JVM was the one that had the saturation and the compression and the gain that I liked. Other Marshalls that I've played, I can't remember what they were, so I don't want to misrepresent anything. They just sounded kind of hollow to me. There was like an emptiness there. They were a little too open for me. They didn't have enough compression. So again, everybody's taste is different, but it would probably, as far as Marshalls go, so far, it would probably be a JVM. And where would the Diezel sit? Or maybe which Diezel? So far, I'm loving the Herbert. I mean, that amp is, it's very percussive. I mean, it's like, it almost makes a sound before the pick hits the string. It's just so like in your face every time you hit the strings with a pick. It's just, it's 100%. Bam, right to the eardrum, man. That amp, it hurts, but in a good way. It's like, it's just got so much just thrust every time you hit the pick to the strings, man. It's right there. Very reactive, very, very punchy. It's got it's just amazing. Great amplifier. Let's see here. Let's see. Mayhem just got here. If you haven't played the Kraken yet, would love to hear it. Yeah, I can fire the Kraken up for you. It's going to take a second to warm up, but be happy to do it. Let's see here. Yeah, give it a minute. Yeah, Kraken's a little bit of a darker amp, but it is a very good amp. It's got a lot of good gain. It's amazing. And for and if you want to hear it, like with what we're doing as a gauntlet right now, for a super chat of any amount, I'll shoot it out with any amp that you want. That's kind of what we do on the Gauntlet section. Just me trying to earn my keep, you know, just whatever you want, a couple bucks, whatever, you know, make it worth your while. Savage sounds awesome. Yeah, Heart Keeps Flame. Yeah, it does, man. That amp is just stupid. It can do no wrong. It's just an amazing amp. It lacks nothing. That's the thing about the Savage and the Mark II anyways. It lacks nothing. It's just the perfect amp. Oh, Friedman would go into your Marshall column, right? Yeah, it would definitely go into my Marshall column. Yeah. It would probably be in with the JVM and all that. So yeah, the Friedman will be over there. I would say that the Engl and the Diezel, even though they sound different, I would put them over in the metal, like slamming, you know, column. Just that really nice modern punchy metal column. They would both go over there. It would just be they could almost stand alone over there by themselves because they're both just monstrous amps. Harkey's Flame says Diezel is Metallica's live sound. Engl is Judas Priest sound right now. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I think James plays through a what is it? The can't even think right now. The VH4. Yeah, he plays through a VH4. Yep. Let's see here. Scott Fulmars, you're helpless romantic, Engl. You're right, man. That Engl is stupid. It's just such a great amp. The German column floor. Yeah, the German column, man. That's just such a great amplifier. Okay, so I think the Kraken is probably ready to go. Let me play that for you real quick. Hang on one second. Forgot I got the wrong guitar for that song. I'm like, oh, purple guitar, that's a red guitar song. Wrong tuning. But anyways, yeah, that's the Kraken. Definitely one of my earlier amps for the show, and still love it. Still think it's amazing. It's a great freaking amplifier. It was donated to the show by a really cool guy, Jerry, and I'll tell you what, I appreciate that amp very much. Learned a lot from it. It's a great amp. Still always sounds amazing to me. Really does. Oh, and thanks for the super chat. Jam Moore and Mayhem, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that immensely. Let's see here. Dean Harkness, nothing wrong with Marshall. They started all of this. Not putting... yeah. I mean, the Marshalls definitely started a lot of this. You know, they're you know, I haven't gelled with a ton of them, but the ones that have that nice compression, I definitely like those very much. When I had the JVM on here, I was surprised at how much I liked it. I was like, holy crap, this thing sounds amazing. Great freaking amplifier. Loved it. You know, it sounds amazing. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, dude. You are welcome. I was gonna play it in a mix for you, but I got the wrong guitar. Let me switch guitars and do that for you. I want to make sure you guys get your money's worth here. I got no problem, you know, going the extra mile for people, because I do what I can to keep people happy, and I want you to keep coming back for more episodes and to enjoy the channel, you know. So yeah, let's do a mix with the Kraken. Oh, all right, 1 second. There you go, sir. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. Holy crap, that amp is... That's a good amp, man. It really is. What I like about that amp is it can be a little dark, but it's still got tons of aggression, and everything on it, all the features on it, whether you choose whether or not it has its own, you know, overdrive, you can switch channels, you can turn all the features on and off via MIDI, which is really cool. It's a touring guy's dream because it's small. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's small, but it's still 100 watts. It's got two really great channels. It's got 2.5 because channel 1 could be used as clean or crunch. And again, it's got all these great features on it. It has its own overdrive. You know, it's got a built-in overdrive on it, which actually works. Like, you know, some amps have it, and it's like, oh, here's our gimmick overdrive that we're going to charge you $300 for, and it sounds like crap. No, it doesn't. That's not the case with the Kraken. It sounds awesome, you know. So yeah, it's a great amplifier designed by Martin Kidd and Rabia Masad. So Rabia is an amazing player, so can't go wrong. You know, some products are like, oh, let me slap my name on it so I can make money, and I don't really care how good it is. That's not one of those products. They actually did a great job with it. You know, could be a little brighter for some people. All you got to do is get an EQ pedal, throw it in the loop, nudge the brightness up a little bit, and you're done. So, great amp. Let's see here. Harky's Flame. I think you need to use the 100 watt JVM. The 50 watters sounded weak to me. Yeah, if I find one at Motor City, I'll be happy to have it on. I thought, you know, I think my thing with that amp was I wasn't expecting to like it. So the fact that I even liked it was like shocking. You know what I mean? And you know how you can get caught up in that? Be like, oh, this thing's amazing. Maybe it's not amazing. It's just way better than I thought it would be. I wouldn't mind revisiting that amp, but again, though, I thought it was good. It was good compared to what I thought it was going to be. That's for sure. And that was before I used to have the switcher and compare it to all these other amps. So I'd like to compare it to them sometime. And if they have a 100 watter, I'll have it on for sure. Mayhem, the Kraken just has the oomph I love in a mix. You know, not too much bass or brittle. I gotta get one. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, the Kraken's a great amp, and it's light. It's not super light, but you know what I mean. It's not that big honking amp that you gotta lug around. You know, it's got a great, great sound. Feels great. A lot of great features again, and small, and it packs a huge punch. It's just an amazing amp. You know, it really is. Andre, what's going on, buddy? Thank you. Much love to you all as well. Your roadie's fired. Yeah. Every once in a while, I pick up the wrong guitar, and it just, you know, it happens, you know. Turn this off. Let's see here. All right, does anybody want to hear the Engl? Rabia's in my top 5. CS says, yeah. He's a great player, man. Jerry W says the Splawn beats a lot of amps when it comes to clarity because it has less bass, which is a great thing sometimes. Yeah, the KT88 has a lot of it's like a clear low end though. It's got that nice resonance, you know, but it's not muddy. So it's got a great sound to it. I'm really happy with it. You know, and the thing is like, I like using some of these, like, you know, like the Cherrytone Molecular and the Splawn for like the Marshall feel, because to me, if I'm going to have a Marshall, I want a modded Marshall. I want something that's got a little more compression and fullness to it, and those amps do that. So that's kind of my way of taking care of the Marshall tones for the channel and for recordings and just me learning about stuff too and sharing that information with you guys. Let's see here. Okay, so Cold Damn Beer wants to hear the Engl Savage. I'll be happy to play the Engl Savage for you. Holy crap, will I be happy to play that. Let me find a song. I'll probably do another one that I've already done, but hey, why not, you know? I'll be happy to do this mix. I got to get more practice in on this mix anyways. I'm still not super good at it, but I need to play this more. Team Engl, Cold Damn Beer. Me too, man. I freaking love that amp. Let me fire that up and switch to it. 1 second, guys. Dude, I can't even say enough good things about that amp. Every time I play it, I feel like it's the quickening. It's so good. It's just so freaking amazing. It sits perfectly in a mix. It responds very well to what I do. And the lead tone is ridiculous. I mean, it's got its own voicing and its own quirky thing going on. It's just stupid. It's just such a just ridiculous amp. You know, if you guys haven't played through a Savage, I mean, you are missing out. Kyle Bull just did one on his channel the other day, and it sounded great. I don't know the difference between the Mark II and the one that he played. He played the Mark I. It sounded great. I don't know what the voicing difference is between them, but all I can tell you is I fell in love with this amp. It took me a few days to get to know it, but once I dialed it in, and the key to this amp, crank the channel volumes all the way up. All the way up, floor them, and then use the master as your attenuator. Otherwise, the channels will sound a little empty and a little weak. But if you crank the volumes up all the way on the channel volumes, this amp is magic. It gives you that fullness and that really nice, rich, kind of full sound. And without doing that, you're going to get a thinner, kind of less responsive sound. So this amp was made to just be cranked. Just crank those volumes all the way up, and it's going to sound incredible. You need to get my new Dover in your hands. Oh, I would like to try out the Dover. I've heard good things about those, so I would totally check one of those out big time. Good to see you here, Dean. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. I'll be on for a few more minutes, and I got to go, too. I got to eat. Brutal breakdown. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that's why I write all my songs. They all have a purpose. Like, it's a musical way of tire kicking on an amp. So I do all that stuff on purpose, so you can hear, like, different things that the amps do. And I try to make it musical. I'll make a mix out of it. And, of course, everybody wants to hear the lead tone. So I'll have a section where I play a lead in most of them as well, so that you can hear that. And I just try to make it enjoyable, you know. Dr. Chugs. That's right. Yeah, it's just such a good amp, man. It's solid. It's just beautiful. Gunnerman, I haven't played my Engl Savage in a while. I've been playing my Mr. Hector. Oh, and Bogner Twin Jet. And, of course, my new 100P. Oh, nice. I just love the 100P Mark II. I ordered the Diezel amp speaker selector. Oh, cool, man. Congrats on that. Let me know how you like it. Yeah, you'll have to revisit the Engl. I'm sure I just made you crave it, didn't I? Because that amp just works, man. Yeah. It's my hidden power. Yeah, that amp just gets me going, man. I love it. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you very much, dude. Yeah, it's just brutal as hell. Somebody had a request up here. Bruce Clark. Engl versus Kraken. All right, I'll play the riff pedal here and switch between them for you. 1 second. Engl versus Kraken. All right, 1 second. So there you have it. Those are, it's kind of a closeness between them a little bit. I have the contour on the Engl too. It gives it that nice mid hump, you know. It darkens it up a hair, but I love the contour on. Oh my camera's all crooked. I must have bumped it. Yeah, it wasn't that clear. I hate these cameras. These webcams suck. Every once in a while, you turn them on, you turn them off, and they get blurry. They're just garbage. I got to get better cameras. Another upgrade for the show. This show's getting very expensive, as you can see. It's a very expensive show to do. But I'm happy to do it for you guys, because I have just as much fun as you guys. You know, I hope you guys enjoy it, but I have a great time. So, okay, so I'm going to shut down in a minute here. Just want to catch up to you guys. Let's see here. Engl is great, Bruce Clark says. Oh, it is. I think if you're a metal player of any genre of metal, doesn't matter. There's so many different subgenres now. Just get an Engl Savage. In my opinion, like, I've played a lot of Engls, and I think they're all great. They all got their own thing going on. But I just think that the Savage, again, this is no disrespect to any of the other amps or people that have them. I just think the Savage is like the mothership of the Engl amps. It's just incredible. It just does so many good things. So I would highly recommend checking it out, you know. Let's see here. Yeah, the Kraken's a little darker. I mean, how do I have it set up? You know, it's funny with the Kraken. I have the mid at 9 o'clock and the treble at 3 o'clock on the Kraken. It's just the way that you have to dial that amp up. So the mid and treble are like this, opposite of each other. Where the Engl, I have the middle at, well, I got it lowered. I got it just over 9 o'clock, but I got the contour on, which gives it that mid hump. So, and I got the treble at 2 o'clock. And the bass is only in the middle. So I could crank the bass up higher and give it more low end, but I just feel like what it has right now is very appropriate. But you can make them, you know, sound better and, you know, thicker and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's so many things you could do, but so it really depends. I mean, I think they're both great amps. I really do. I mean, the Kraken's more affordable. I mean, you're just under $2,000 on that, where the Savage you're at just under $3,000. So it's about $1,000 more, about $900 difference between them, right around there. But you get 4 channels, you know. And channel 3 on the Kraken is, oh, it's just gorgeous. What you heard was channel 4. Channel 3 is the stepchild channel. It's just really quirky and weird, but it's just got this really amazing thing it does. I'll have to dive into that more on some other videos, but I actually have a dial-in video on that if you want to watch it. I actually go over channel 3 on it too. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it very much. Can't be unhappy with any amp on your racks lately. Yeah, same here. Thank you. Thank you. They're all good. I mean, that's the thing. That's the reason why I got them. I got them because I want to represent all the different types of styles of amps out there. So when I, you know, want to compare them for you guys, you got something at least in each, you know, kind of genre or type of amp, like Marshall, modded Marshall. You know, you got the Diezel craziness, the Engl Savage, you know, the EVH stuff. I mean, it's all, there's a lot of good representation here. Boutique amps like the Cherrytone and the KSR, and then of course the JP. I mean, you can't go wrong with the JP. And I even have the minis. I got the, you know, the MT15 and the Mark 525. So, but anyways, well, I really appreciate you guys being here. Been on for over 2 hours now, and I had a great time, so I really appreciate it. It's because of you guys. I had so much fun, so I appreciate it very much. And again, the Friedman, this is the first time I've actually totally gelled with the amp, and I like it. I like it. And a lot of it has to do with cabs. So again, if you're playing amps at your house and you got a collection, or even you tried one out and you really want to like it, and you know that it's a good amp, but there's just something missing, might be the speakers of the cab that you're playing through. try something different. Borrow something from a buddy, or I don't know, get another cab if you want. But you know, try, if you're in the market for a new cab, get something with different speakers than what you already have. Because I'm telling you, you might discover that all this time you should have been playing these speakers instead of the ones you've been playing. So I want to say thank you again to Motor City Guitar for allowing me to take this home and do this live stream. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't have happened, so I appreciate that very much. If you're looking to buy some new gear, feel free to go on their website. There's a link below in the description. Just click on that. That'll take you to their website. Yes, it's an affiliate link, but it helps the channel, it helps the store, and it helps you because you get a great deal on something amazing. And they're great people to deal with. They're my favorite store to shop at. So, and you'll find out why when you shop there as well. So, well, I know you guys all have other places you could be hanging out tonight and other channels you could be watching. And I'm privileged and honored to have you here. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here and spending the evening with me. I appreciate it very much. It's like I always say, every day is a gift. And thank you so much for spending part of yours with me. And Carrie and I will be live on Sunday night. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll figure it out. I know she's going to sing a song for you guys, so tune in for that. And Sunday night we'll be live at 7 o'clock. All right, God bless you guys. Thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you all very soon. Take care, guys. Appreciate you all.
Thanks for joining us here tonight at Tone Wars. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Please be sure to click like and subscribe to the channel so you'll get the notifications and never miss a show. We go live every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock and Sunday night at 7 o'clock.